YouTube, Chief Monkey J. Another little video here. Just trying to gather up the stuff before I got it. Now, as you know, I've been doing paracord bits and pieces as well for people and the walking stick, and I'm getting more and more interested into my knotting. I just thought I'd show you an interesting little piece that I've done recently. Excuse me, reaching around computers. Now, a friend of mine made these up for me. You might say, what are they? It's an experimental design system here with for the French knitting type dollies. So we've got one with 3 pegs, one with 4, and one with 6. Now they produce a rather interesting little pattern. That is a hollow tube. They're all hollow, and that is a 3-dimensional structure, and that's done on the 3 pegs, like a chain link. And then we have done a 4-peg design on the big knife, which is, you know, it's nice and solid, like a bit like corn on the cob. It's, you know, a little bit flexible, but it's solid. Now, it's really interesting to do. Quite fairly easy, pretty quick. Long length paracord eats it up. It's, you know, you do use a lot of paracord. It's just an overall experiment as how we're going to play with these sort of things, to get the knot work better and achieve more things. But basically, yeah, I just thought I'd show you those that are making them up for my lanyard projects. So we've got that one there. We've got this sort of star, which I'm hoping to turn into all my light pole switches. I'm going to go do all the light pole switches for, you know, the dangly cords, pull the lights. So make handles out of these. So I'll do that in a bit today when the missus comes home. And we've also been making this one for the Whitby, which is a pupa type end with 2 diamond knots, which are loose on here, so you can move them around just to play with. So you can have them tied up or any way you want, just to play with. So that's a couple of lanyards and things, the pieces we've been getting on with recently to do. We've got chain link, just a normal chain link on the end of the SDK. A little knife, that custom made knife for me, that necker out of black reflective. And then obviously, as you've seen, we've got, looks like a king cobra stitch on that one. So it's all turning out pretty good. The paracord stuff is coming along nicely. We are something that we want to carry on and play with a lot more. So keep a watch out. We'll be doing some more paracord things. I've got to make a bracelet for my friend with a snap-on little badge. He's got a snap-on badge that he wants laced up, and in the same again in the burgundy and black reflective that I made his walking stick in. So that's, as soon as he's polished that up, that's what we've got to do. But we'll do a demonstration. We're using these. In fact, I'll tell you what, we'll do it now live. Let's do it with let's do it with a 4 one, shall we? Do it with a 4. Nice long there. There's a nice bit of paracord. I do have quite a bit round here, funny enough, because I play with it all the time. I mean, if you wanted to get into paracord knotting, just go get some lengths of paracord, various different lengths, and just sit there and practice and play at night. I mean, if you're watching the telly, and I don't watch that much telly, to be honest. But, you know, get some paracord, sit there and practice. Just do one until you can do it over and over again. Like Turk's egg knot, I've been practicing that over and over and over, so I can tie a Turk's head knot without thinking about it now. Anyway, to use a paracord dolly, or crochet dolly, or French knitting dolly, or whatever you want to call it, drop a tail of your paracord through, and then on your pegs, you're going to go, obviously I'm doing this backwards to myself, outside, loop in to the next peg. Okay, you see, and you're going to go, so you've got inside, loop round to the next peg, on the inside. Loop round to the next peg on the inside, and loop round back to the final peg. Okay, so you have this sort of 3-cross or 4-cross pattern going in, and literally all you need to do is take the bottom strand of the one you've got over now. Sorry. So you got your 4 crosses, yeah? Right. That, and then now we start to run on the outside of everything all the time. So you're outside of one, outside the other, and it gives you a chance to hold everything in place. Right? We are working off of this one because it's our first double loop. So all you do is take the bottom cord and go over the peg. I'm trying to do this so you can see it. So you go over the peg, it goes over the cord you just put round. Give it a pull down in the middle. Okay, so you now produce a loop in the center here. So we go on to our next peg now. Again, put it 2 pegs along so you can hold it in place. So we're now on, that's our first one, we're now on this one. So what we do is, again, is take the bottom cord and you go lift it over the peg. It's very hard to do this backwards whilst looking at a camera on your computer. I do apologise if it seems a bit thin. So we'll try it again, keeping it up. So this is the one we've just done, and this is the one we're going to do. So we're going on the outside and go round to give us a chance to hold everything. So take your bottom string, which is this inside one. There it goes. See, that's going from, that's the outside, gone around the outside. That's gone the inside from the previous pass, and that is tied. There it is. So that is tied to this knot. Yeah. So we take this bottom one, pull it up. Get quite stiff. These pegs are a little long, but sorry about that. That was quite a stiff one. I put it over the top. See how that's now looping over the top? Pull it down, it will slide into the middle. And then all you do is keep carrying it on. Ouch. You get quite fiddly. You should really use, you can get a hooked needle. It's not a needle, it's like a hooked piece to pull one cord out from underneath, stick up the bottom. So what we can use is, if you have one, paracord fib will work just as well. So we've now got all the way round. Okay, so this is where we started here on this peg, and you can see inside just the first full run of loops. So we're now back to the start. So all we need to do now is keep, we're all going to be on the outside, so we just need to pull it. This is your bass string, and that's your hook string that you're going over. You just slide it over the top, and away it goes. And you go around to the next one. Now, pulling in this bottom cord that's coming out the bottom will help keep everything tight. As we go down, we don't need to hold on to it so much. So we'll do another one. if I could do it backwards to you, it might be really useful. Let's see if we can get our hands in here. So we're now working on this double. This one we've just done, and you can see there's only one string there. We're now working on this double. So we're gonna get us a bit of slack on the cord, like that. A bit of slack on the cord. I'm going to move my foot up and use it to loop the cord over the top of the pin. Okay, push it over, push that one back down. So we made the next loop. Okay, so if we keep centering these in the middle, you start to see the pattern forming. So we'll do a few more here, and then speed it up for you. So all you do is keep continuing like that until you get all the way down the cord. So I shall continue to do this. I'll tilt the screen down so you can see me do it. I'll speed it up because we're already 11 minutes, and then we'll have a bit more fun and we'll come back to it. Right, so go as far as I go on that paracord. I've got a little bit left over. This is where we started. You can see the start crossing. It does come down through the middle. So what we're going to do, we're just going to take it off a minute. And what we're left with is this sort of chain link pattern. Now there's several ways you could tie this off. There are proper ways. All we're going to do, just for the sake of this, make sure these holes are big enough, carefully, and feed our lead end through. And then each one, as I get it where I want to get it to, I then use this cord of this loop to tighten up against my tail end. Okay? Which will allow me a bit more room on the next loop. I want to be on that one. Just continue this all the way around till you got to all four. And back through the last one. And then obviously you can use the back side of the loop of this one, which is your running tail, to tighten up everything. You just keep creeping it through where you want it to go, and it come out. So we now got our three-dimensional piece, which is pretty sweet, and it is three-dimensional. Now you can tidy up the bottom by lacing this back in on itself, but you may say, well, why do I use this? Obviously you've seen me use it as a lanyard, but ferrocerium rod, this is one of the Swedish style thick ones, really thick one, made by Scott Wessex Blades. Now that 4-1 will go in here. One more run, there we go. Right, so I've now just made myself a case for my ferrocerium rod, which is pretty sweet if you ask me. So I'm just going to tighten up the loops on here to get it right around at the top. Now if I had enough paracord left over, obviously if I planned it properly, I could have done a Turk's head knot like I've done here with this tail, or a diamond knot, crown knot, anything like that. I could have done a diamond knot, would have been great because that would have clasped the top of there to then give it its own case. But there you go, YouTube. If you square everything up, my ferrocerium rod now has a case. It's not going to get scratched or chipped off or worn out by accident. So with this tail, I'm just going to feed it through the centre of this top one. Actually through both of them I'm going to do. For the top and your bottom cross here and here. See where the brass rod is going. I'm just going to open it up a little bit. So I need it to tighten against itself basically, because I'm only using one cord, a single run. So go through there and back through that one. So we've got under or across. And then from that side, like that. Right, if I could explain it, it would be good. That one there is our tail. It's gone through to there. So I'm going to open up this top one and go back through. Open up that one and go over the cross here with the tail and through like that. Just to A, take up the last bit of rope that's there, and B, it'll be tightening against itself at that point. Make sure your hole's sufficient. Sometimes easier said than done. And pull down, it gives a nice finishing end. Obviously I can snip that there, snip and melt it in if I want to, and it will self-hold. And again, I could do that with that one, snip that one and remelt it to itself quite happily. So there we go, using a paracord dolly, using the 4 things, and all this is a bit of stainless tube with 4 nails welded to the top, and the top's cut off. They're a bit long. This is like #1 experiment. You know, they're just a quick knock up we're just playing with. So we now have a case for our ferrocerium rod. I know it's bulky, but I like knot work and paracord work and things like that, so it proves rather nice. So look, I'd really appreciate your comments on it, guys. Let me know what you think, and I think we might go and do the light balls. I'll get my wife something to really think about when she comes back. Never leave me on my own. No, too many things get changed. Righto. Nice. So we'll be back with more of these to do. I'm thinking of a way to do two different colours in them. So we'll come back to that and catch you later. Alright, YouTube, thanks for watching.